Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on out to another episode of the Ranger Experience. I'm your host, Christian Ingram, better known as the Power Rangers guy. And today I have a very special guest on with me, my friend. I've been talking to you more as of recent since the YouTube panel. Airlim, how you doing today, sir?
I am okay. How are you, and how is everyone else?
You just okay? Not like fantastic, not like buzzing since the Dino War?
Yay! Yeah! Dino War! I mean, Rush Dino War! Yeah!
Oh, I'm sure we'll get into that later, but I want to start like at the beginning. How did you get started with YouTube?
Well, funny story. I was around when YouTube first started, and I was going to use it for a lot of graphic work. Because I was in university at the time, and I was like, okay, let's just utilize this channel just for work. And then I was like, oh, YouTube's not going to blow up. It's just a place for cats. That's all it's going to be, just cats. And then I saw it blow up, and I started going, okay, well, maybe I should produce some more more like videos. But there wasn't a way back then to properly watch all the series. Like things were coming out on DVD, but there wasn't a way of like talking about it properly. So I just literally just started making content. There's me skipping around as the Green Ranger. I think there was a video about us doing me and my friends doing an MTV Cribs, and it was just literally just Tommy living it. But he lived with his alter egos, which was Dino, Thunder Black, and I think after that I just started making more content. I got more into making like short films, and there was one that blew up which I didn't realize, which was Rangers v Putties. And I wanted to get that video out so badly that I didn't put any kind of like visual work in apart from like an explosion. So we worked on that with a few friends, and then we did like one or two others, and I think it just snowballed after that. I was like, yeah, I'll keep going with this, and I just decided, hey, I like Power Rangers. Let's talk about Power Rangers, and then it kind of started growing from there.
Yeah, because you have a lot of subscribers so far. And it's really impressive to see, especially considering like a lot of your videos are like in the millions, correct?
Yeah, there's one or two. There was the Rangers v Putties, and there was Sneaking Dave, and then the rest of it has just been kind of like slowly building. I was very shocked for when I first saw that. I was like, oh, that's a lot right there. I did not realize, and over time I didn't check them that much, and it was just like bam, bam, bam. I was like, oh, okay, I'm more than happy with that one. I just wish most of the other ones would get that much now, but for what it is, I was just extremely happy. It's just like I don't know if it's like one of the first Ranger kind of little fan films or something, or skits, but I was really happy with how it all turned out, and I think my friends did as well, and. Or they've completely forgotten about it and gone like, what? Rangers v Putties? Huh? That's pretty much it.
Like, what is that? No, like that video was good though, and it's like a lot of your videos you do are good, and like the one I didn't even realize you did this one, but I had watched it like right before I went to PMC in 2018. Your video from PMC 2016.
Was that the one with
It was like the collage of like different cosplayers and whatnot, and it had Chris in it and Kevin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah. That one I actually really liked. I worked with Kevin because I shot some footage, but I didn't have enough to turn it into like a 3-minute video. So I asked Kevin, and I was like, can I use some of your clips? And he was like, yeah, no problem. There was one scene that I really wanted, but the cosplayers, I think, finished the photo shoot. So they had all the Dino charge Rangers in one line. So that scene where you see the Rangers walk up, I wanted every single one to be in line. And then they were like, oh, we're going for food now. I was like, oh, okay. But some people kind of stuck about, and we did that shot. I asked Chris, I was like, Chris, could you be in this? He was like, yeah, cool. I was like, thank you. So with that one, I think I owe a lot to Kevin for like letting me use his kind of clips in that one.
Oh, yeah, Kevin is a really cool guy. I met him at a Ranger stop in November, and like I didn't know anything about cameras. Like I had bought like a bunch of cameras, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, and I'm like, I have no idea what any of this stuff is. And he's like, I'm like, hey, you're really good with cameras. Can you give me like a breakdown? Because I have no idea what I'm doing. And he sat there for a good like 15 minutes explaining the different stuff of cameras, and that's what's helped me out so far. So he's amazing. But how was PMC? You went in 2016 and 2018, correct?
Yeah, I've been to every single one, but I think there was one year that I didn't attend because I couldn't get time off work. But 2016 was good. 2018 was good. I preferred it at it's not Pasadena, the Anaheim Center. I really liked it there, and thought it was a lot bigger and better. Apart from like the problems at the very beginning, but it felt more like a proper convention, and it just felt different in a way, I think, because it wasn't at the same like the Pasadena, and it wasn't like super expensive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, from what I've heard, Pasadena was like the hotels were all expensive because there was only like so many around there. But Anaheim, like, it was a different experience, I think. But they're going back to what, Pasadena in 2021?
Yeah.
You plan on making the trip for that one?
Hoping. Yeah, I do want to go. I'm just saving. I've just literally bought a load of new equipment to kind of do some more work. But yeah, I'm hoping to kind of get across there. Try and save it in a year. So I think that's going to be a challenge, but I think I can do it.
I'm pretty sure you should be able to, but hopefully COVID's over and done with by then. I doubt it will be, but you know.
Yeah.
We
what about you? What about you? Are you going across?
Yeah. See, the thing about mine is I had already bought mine and my brother's plane ticket, and they were like, you can pay an extra $100 to get your money back in case you have to cancel. I'm like, no, I won't need that. So now I have a voucher for $560, and I'm like, okay, my flight's taken care of, so I'm not getting that money back, which is kind of a good thing, because I'd spend it. So it's like, So, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go. The one thing I'm disappointed about though is that I don't think they'll have the cast reveal.
No, I think that's going to be. I reckon it'll just be Hasbro just kind of putting photos online, going, "Hey, this is what you're going to get." It'll be interesting because I think one of my friends and I were talking about this. Is how they're going to have the guys from Reassault or Dino Fury and then Beast Morphers signing at the same time, just sat next to each other, which I think would be cool if they did. But yeah, I think that's, I don't know, because Hasbro's ways they've slowly changed it, because it was at that the Hasbro conference where they were like, oh, here's the next season, what it's going to be, rather than at Power MorphCon where it's always been, oh, this is what the season is, and then this is the cast at the same time. So I don't know if Hasbro are going to do it that way from now on and take that away from Power MorphCon and just be like, well, you've had it for years, we're going to do it slightly different this time.
Yeah, because don't they have their own convention, like HasCon?
Yeah, I think it is. If they decide to move it across there and just like said, oh, PMC now is just going to be the official way of like, you can have the ranges there, but any brand new news, you're not going to have. You may get a new Lightning Collection toy reveal and stuff like that, but we're just going to keep everything in house, which would be a bit kind of a type thing if they did that.
Yeah, but with the way Hasbro is going, I've heard some news about them, how they are with like conventions and stuff, so I could see them doing that, which I can't blame them because it is their property, but, we'll see in the future. But speaking of the Lightning Collection, what is your opinion on like the figures and everything we have so far?
I like what we're getting. I'm not a big fan at the moment of them re-releasing some of them again. So Lord Zed and Rita I was fine with, but I think that because the way that I've seen it, that I'm guessing that they would have planned all this up to an X amount of years and gone, right, for the next 3 years, these are the ones we've got. So releasing Zed was fine at the beginning. Then obviously we got it in Rita, which is fine, but I would have preferred something like Scorpina or Finster or something like that.
Yeah.
With the newest, so then we got Draken again. Who apparently is coming out as like a 3-pack or something like that, which to me is a bit kind of like, why so close, or why we're getting it now? But the rest of it's been absolutely fine. I've been kind of blown away. One thing is, I'm like they're the same size as like the normal ones, which I was very kind of like, nah, that can't be right. And then I was like, oh, actually it is. So I like it. I think it's doing really well. And I can't wait to see what else is going to come along from them. What about you? What are you thinking about them?
I actually really like the figures. I like the way they've turned out, and I like the fact that most of them are compatible with like some of the older vehicles, like the cycles and stuff. I think that's really unique. But I really like the human heads. That's like one thing I've always wanted to do is display Power Rangers with like them holding their helmets with the human heads on. I don't know. It's just a weird thing of mine.
No, it's cool. Like I think from some of the thumbnails that I've done is like I like having them like holding the helmets as well because it's a very nice touch. Like Bandai never went down that road. So even like you think that they would have at some point, but just having like the Rangers being able to stand in a line with the helmets underneath their arm, I think that's classic. Like it's something that a lot of fans have wanted. I mean, like yourself, you wanted it, so I'm glad that they're able to kind of do that.
Yeah. Hopefully they continue with it, and I mean, it's looking good so far. I think the only time Bandai's ever done anything like that was with the Mystic Force Rangers. The what is it? The upgraded mode where they actually had human heads.
Oh yeah, yeah, they did have that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only time I can remember, or the flip heads, but I'm not too big a fan of flip heads. But what's your dream Lightning Collection item that you would want to come out?
Oh, I would quite like RJ, I think. RJ is one of my favorite Rangers, so having just him in multiple, like, I think I'd probably buy like one or two just to come out head versions, not all different like poses. Yeah, RJ would be, I think, one of the ultimate figures. If we're going for like prop wise, like role play item, oh, I really don't know. That's a very tough one. I have no idea.
Not a specific morpher or helmet you would want.
I'd probably say Wolf Ranger helmet because I think that would be cool. If it was a Morpher though, I'm gonna go like it's not one off the top of my head. Well, it's tough off my head, but the sunglasses from Jungle Fury, just to annoy a lot of people. Just be like, got sunglasses now.
Can you imagine people wearing those out in public? They'd be like, "Where'd you get your sunglasses? From Target in the toy aisle."
Yeah, just like yeah. Do they help with your eyes? No, but they do look cool. But it's fine. I think it'd be cool. Like it just like pops down with like a little thing just to kind of talk. Like that's my Bluetooth. I'm talking on the phone.
Oh my god! You know how many fans would be mad? They'd be like, "Yo, you could have chosen In Space Lost Galaxy, but you chose the sunglasses."
Yes, I know. I absolutely love it. Like everyone turns around and goes like, "How could you like that? How could you like that particular one?" I'm just like, it's outside the box. Like, how many times can you turn around and say it protects the Earth and my eyes? So it's just slap them on, be fine.
I've never heard anybody say that, but that's great. It protects the Earth and my eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's incredible. But it's considering you're a big fan of Jungle Fury, is that like your favorite season?
No, my all-time favorite is Zeo. And the only reason why is because it was, I think, back in 94 or 5 when the original aired. And then when it moved over to Zeo, it was completely different. It wasn't the same costumes, and we'd always seen them all the time where it was just like, oh, like here's the Mighty Morphin gear. So it got kind of boring. But then when Zeo came, it was a whole different like outlook. You didn't really need to know more about the characters because they were there. You had new suits, new swords, and then you had Gold Ranger. He came in, and I think when I was kind of watching it back, like the last episode of season 3, I was at a wedding when I was really young, and I just remember seeing it on TV and literally just like, oh my god, I have to watch it. What are they going to do with the Zeo Crystal? What are they going to do with this? And I was just so glued to the point where it's like, and to be continued. I was like, great. When's the UK going to get any? Like, because the UK back then, it was a very hard thing. Like, we may not have gotten the rest of it. But I was so kind of glad that we did, and I just fell in love with Zeo. Fell in love with the suits, the storylines, seeing like the Emperor of Evil and the Empress of Evil just being outrun and being told to get in an RV and said you have to go around the moon and live there, and it felt something different. So Zeo just was a whole different like kind of side to it. So I was really kind of glad about it. So Zeo.
But so I have to ask this: with your favorite season being Zeo, who is your favorite to play the Gold Ranger? Was it Brad Hawkins as a voice, or was it the triplets, or did you like Austin St. John as the Gold Ranger?
I like Brad because it was a different voice, and I didn't realize that Brad voiced it. I thought it was the triplets that had been voicing him for such a long time, and I didn't find that out until I think maybe like 5, 7 years ago, or something like that, where I was just like, "Oh my God, that's Brad's voice. That's not the triplets because they sound completely different."
Hmm.
I liked Austin coming back as the Gold Ranger, but I kind of thought that I much would have preferred it to stay as like Brad voicing it because it felt different. I mean, I know everyone wanted Jason to come back, and it was good that he did, but it just felt kind of like after he'd moved on, I kind of was like, okay, he's now gone, it's fine. It just felt more kind of like you've taken Tommy's role for, he's now become the Sixth Ranger compared to where Jason's now the Red Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It was cool seeing Austin, but like, I don't know, Brad voicing him, it was like so much better in my opinion. And I wish they would have used Brad on screen or like somehow made him the Gold Ranger instead of Austin. But
Hmm.
that's just something we could look back on. What did you think of the idea of Billy being the Gold Ranger?
I thought he was when I was younger. It was those small inconsistencies or inconveniences, like, hey guys, I've just been finishing this off, but where were you, the Gold Ranger? Oh, geez, that pesky Gold Ranger, he's not here. Oopsie. I would have loved it if he was. I think it would have been great. Like, I remember looking back to his like reason where he's just like, oh, these like particles have hit me from the console. But then when you look back at the footage of him actually being hit by those things, there's nothing that hits him at all. There's like the sparks are on the other side, and he's just going, "Oh no!" Which I was just like, "Okay, cool." But I really wish that he was, because I think then you could have kept it in house rather than saying, "Okay, now we've got to get Austin back, and then he's coming back into it." But if they would give the powers, like it wasn't like it was just a random find. I would have been okay with that if the triplets weren't there at the same time, but I just kind of wish that they gave like David the chance to say, "Hey, do you want to be the Gold Ranger completely?" And he goes, "Yeah, okay, cool, I'll do that."
Yeah, I mean, talking to David Yost, he is one of the sweetest actors of all time, and I know he wishes it had gone different, but can't change the past. But what has your interaction with Power Interactors been like?
It's been good. I think the only bad one I've ever had was kind of like with Amy Jo. Um, just the way that when she came over here to a Comic Con in Wales, where she decided to she decided to kind of head back to her hotel room a lot earlier, tried to interview her, and she was like, yeah, yeah, no problem, and then just didn't turn up. And I was a bit like, hmm. But the rest have been great. Austin is always a good person to meet. He's very kind of humble. He's not the type of person to be like kind of push people out of the way. So if you're in line for him, he will spend time with you. Um, I think like the best one I've met or had a really good interaction with is Ciara, because she just feels like she wants to give a lot of love to the fandom, and I like that. So I don't, apart from Amy, I've never had a bad one bar Amy, but the rest have been absolutely fine. How about yourself? Which one have you met which you're like, hell's yeah, they're cool?
So I'm pretty cool with like it's funny because I'm like on a first name basis with a lot of them. So like Karen's a sweetheart. She's amazing. Patrick, me and Sean were at a convention in February before everything shut down, and he's a good sport about everything. Sean took a blue Psycho Ranger over to him. Was like, "Will you sign this? This is you." And he was like, "Man, get out of here." And he like I don't really have anything bad to say about any actors because I've met like all the cool ones. I have heard bad things about Amy, not necessarily bad, just that she's not a big fan of the fans and she doesn't want to like interact with them.
Yeah, I've heard stuff over the years about Amy and stuff like that, and I have like many different thoughts on it. But at the end of the day, like I kind of thought of if people like meeting her and they've had really good ones, then I'm not gonna voice the bad ones or my kind of thoughts on it unless someone goes, "Hey, what are your thoughts?" And I'll be like, this is them. But so far, like every single Ranger actor that I've met has been really really good. I know other people have had different experiences, but every single time I've met one, they've been absolutely fine. And I think it's nice to see them kind of interacting with the fans because most times people would just be like, "Oh, I'm done with this. Oh, I was in that sort of show. Like maybe I did a fight scene in spandex, but and then they just kind of like brush past it, but most of them just embrace it and go, yeah, cool. I was this person, I was this one, and I've enjoyed meeting them. It's just I have to fly so many miles just to meet them, and I'm just like, oh.
Oh yeah, that flight from the UK to Cali, I can imagine that's no joke. How long does it take you to fly over to the States?
Roughly around about 12 hours, minimum about 12 hours. It's just a pain, but I think that normally I can sleep on a plane quite easily, so it passes like faster than anything. But when you can't sleep, you're just like going, 12 hours to sit and do nothing. That's going to be fun. So that's roughly about it. But it's worth it, to be fair, because I enjoy it. So I'm more than happy to fly across and meet people and stuff like that.
Now, do you take are you gonna take like a Nintendo Switch on the plane with you this time?
Yes, I think I will actually literally go and buy one because like DS is fine and all, but Switch, I know there's going to be a lot more out there to kind of play. So literally, I reckon be like, oh, just play Zelda and literally finish the game. Go, oh, now I've got to land. Okay, this is cool. I didn't eat any of this horrible plane food, but at least I saved Hyrule.
Yeah, the plane food is not great. When I was flying out to PMC last time, the stewardess, I think they're called, she was walking by, and she looked at me and tried to hand me food. I was like, no. And then she was like, here. I'm like, no. She's like, here. I just took it and threw it at my friend. I'm like, I don't want it. Like, what? Like, have you had any, like, horror stories with flying, or, like, has it always been pretty chill?
It's always been fine. I've never really had, I never really had, like, the bad experiences. I think the only time is that they gave me this little cookie thing, and I was like, "Oh, is there any kind of like?" Because I hate like nuts and stuff like that in chocolate. It's horrible.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, it's got chunks in it. Is this nuts?" And they were like, "Oh no, it's chocolate." I was like, "You sure?" Because I know I'm allergic to nuts, which I'm not, but I was just like, just to get it out of the way. And they were like, "Oh no, it's fine." I bit into it. I was like, "That's nuts," and they just laughed at me, and I was just like, "If I was allergic, this could have been 10 times worse." But apart from that's it. Like apart from that one incident, maybe a flight I think from the last PMC, it didn't turn up, and we waited like I think half an hour to a couple of hours just waiting for a plane just to arrive, and I got very very annoyed because I was very very tired.
Yeah, planes are not fun. I hate it. It's always cold, and I'm just like, I don't like flying to begin with, but it is what it is. Do you have any plans to come out to like Ranger Stop or anything this year?
Not this year, because pretty much all cons are kind of cancelled, and plus if they're not letting people fly from the UK at the moment, because I don't know if America still has the restrictions down on who can enter the country, so it will be I think all my cons will start again next year, and with Range Stop being the very kind of like it's not that expensive, so it's more doable than saving up like a ton of money just to go to PMC. But Ranger Stop is one because I really enjoyed the last one I went to in 2015. So I was like, yes, I need to come again.
Oh yeah, Ranger Stop is it feels more intimate than PMC. PMC is just crazy. You always moving. Did you get stuck in the line at PMC, like waiting for your badge?
No, Kevin again helped me out quite a lot because normally I apply for press because of interviews and stuff like that, and for some strange reason PMC were like, oh, you have to apply within this time, and there was nothing until just how's it like there was nothing until I thought, oh, maybe it opens up on the day, but Kevin was just like, I'll come with me, and he helped me out. So but next time I'll be literally applying like straight away. But I know a lot of people got stuck in that line. People hated that line, and people were getting very kind of antsy and stuff like that. And I was just like, I'm so sorry that people are doing this. I think PMC needed to have a better kind of implementation to how lines were done, rather than just like be like, oh, we'll do this on the day, which I find like most cons do. It's more like, yeah, we'll do it on the day. It's just like there's like 1,001 like problems and stuff like that going on. But hopefully next time they would get everything ready and get it all kind of sorted straight away.
Yeah, hopefully everything's like good and it doesn't take that long, because everybody was mad about that line, and then people who got like platinum or whatever gold like didn't go in at the time they were supposed to. It was a mess, but they said their system went down, so hopefully they learned and they're better this year or next year. But Getting back to YouTube, what's the hardest video you've ever filmed?
Um, oh, I don't know. I think I would probably say not the hardest one, but the most kind of trickiest one was um, it was a thing we did for Disney, and it was called "It's More Than," which was basically meant to be like based on a fandom. And that one had to be done by a certain like time. So normally, like with most of the videos that I make, they can be done either like way in advance. They can be done like kind of straight away. This one was like a time limit because it was a more lengthier one. I think I sent them the first one because I was with Maker Studio at the time. So they turned around and was like, "Oh, we want this one done, and it has to be done within 2 weeks." So with that one, my friend and we flew all the way to range stop for the weekend and all the way back, got what we needed, started. I started editing, and then when I sent it to them, I was just like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And they're like, "We kind of like it, but could you do another edit?" So then, like 9 edits later, they were like, "We like it, but if you could just change this, take this, this, and out." And I was just like, well, that's like hard, like most of the stuff, because I think the video itself on its own would have been over an hour, maybe almost an hour and a half, because there was so much stuff in there.
Mm.
So cutting that all down to like 10 minutes was kind of a bit like tricky at the time. So that one I think has been the most trickiest one, but hardest one I have no idea. Um, I'll have to let you know on that one because I can't think about it off the top of my head.
We can come back to it. What's the funnest video you've ever filmed?
I would probably say the Ranger Stop one, the more than. The way that it was shot was we'd already when it got approved, I had already booked time to go to other conventions, so it was like asking my friends and saying like, "What do you think about this?" It was hearing different people's like kind of answers. Most of the guys in the UK, they gave the same sort of thing. They grew up with it, they liked it. But when I was speaking to most of the American audience and stuff like that, their stories came out a bit more. Like they grew up with it. You know, they were going through the same sort of hardships. They were able to kind of say, "Look, you know, this Ranger is about me, and I like this," and you know, and I found those stories more interesting than like interviewing the actors. I think like the actors had their own sort of like kind of play on it, obviously, because they did it. But when speaking to the people that grew up with it, I liked it because I got to hear their stories, which you don't normally hear, or no one will ask like, "Oh, hey, how did you get into Power Rangers? How did you do this?" And then you hear this entire story of like they watched it with their brothers, they watched it with their dad, or their mother, or what like that. And I liked that. That was to me the best part of and the most fun experience out there. And then eating a lot of ribs and wings in at the thing. That was the best thing after that.
Oh my god, going out to eat at conventions is the best because you're like, I don't care about money at this point. I'm at a convention. I'm gonna get an appetizer and like a bunch of food, and then I'm gonna feel fat afterwards. So it's always a good time. But yeah, it's amazing to hear those stories of people like you, like the actors. Like I've talked to a lot of them, and they're like, yeah, we didn't expect people to like be like, oh, Power Rangers got me through my parents' abusive relationship, or I was bullied in school so bad that I had to stop going to school, and Power Rangers got me through that. And I mean, I have a similar story. I'm not going to share it on air because, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to bring that up. But, like, it's just really cool to hear these experiences that people have had with Power Rangers and what it's got them through. But how did you get into Power Rangers?
I literally turned the TV on, and I remember like literally doing the whole thing of going boom like that on the screen, and then watching it because I'd never seen anything about it, and I watched it from day one. The UK was always like a year behind, so we never got it straight away. But when it was aired on a TV station, and it was weird because it was a news TV station, which was different. So I watched the first episode, and I just absolutely loved it. Fell in love with the entire brand there and then. I was into like other things at the time, but Power Rangers seemed to be like a huge, big, major thing for me because it was I'd never seen anything like that, and it just seemed to kind of resonate. And I was just like, I could see myself watching this for such a long time. I did fall out of it, which I think it was just after Turbo. I absolutely hated Turbo.
That's fair.
I hate it to this day. And yeah, I stopped watching it because at high school it was more you can't you can't like Power Rangers. It's that got called loads of names. Was bullied a little bit for it, but then I think it was at college when it was when Ninja Storm came back. That was when I literally fell in love with it again and went back and watched previous seasons because it was more accessible then. We were coming into the internet era, but like DVDs were made and stuff like that, so I was able to do more research. And then when it became more widely like brought out, I was like, hell, I'm gonna watch this. Keep doing it, and then just fell in love with it.
Now, since you stopped at Turbo, when you went back and watched In Space, were you like, I should have just kept watching?
I didn't like In Space that much. It was
man.
the thing. I don't know what it was. Like I enjoyed it, but it didn't. Like I can see now the reason why it saved the brand, why it saved the entire franchise, and I think it's just I just couldn't really get into it. I think maybe at that point because it was so different. Maybe because I wasn't used to not seeing like the original Rangers and stuff like that. Even though obviously they left like very much into Turbo, but I think it was just very different. But I might go back and rewatch it because I know there's been some really good storylines that now that I might be able to go, oh, actually now I appreciate this more rather than just be more kind of like, type thing about it.
That's fair. Now, what are the later seasons like really stuck out to you as like some of the best of the franchise?
Oh, that's a hard question because I know literally when I did a video on this, I got slammed. I think as everyone hates it, Super Megaforce, I think really it does stand out. I think it is still one of the best. No, it could have been one of the best seasons if it had been done right. Jungle Fury, that stuck out to me because it was just again something different. And obviously I cosplayed as RJ. Dino Charge to some degree.
The first season or second season?
The first season. The second season sucked so badly.
Yeah.
It's just like all the characters seem to change. Ivan's one of my favorite Rangers from that, and he changed completely, and I absolutely hated it. What else? Dino Thunder. I really like Dino Thunder quite a lot. Just because I think it was. I don't want to say it's Tommy coming back because I'm not a huge Tommy fan, but it felt like to me that was the closing arc for him. Like everything had come like full circle for Tommy. But I just really liked Connor, Kira, Ethan all together. Their sort of powers, how they could be, and also Mystic Force. I really like Mystic Force because capes. I like capes, and I thought it was great.
I don't think Mystic Force is as bad as everybody says. I think it's a good season for what it is. I mean, obviously Disney had lost interest by then, but it's not bad. So I thought Mystic Force could have been better, but it was still good. And I thought the capes were a nice touch. I didn't think they were that bad, especially Solaris Knight's cape. I was like, all right, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think like the whole capes were fine. I'm so glad they didn't have the promo capes where it had the symbol on the back of it because I think that would have really kind of like irked me a bit on it. I loved Korag. I thought Korag is one of the best like villains in Power Ranger history because every single bad guy would be like, I'm going to destroy you. And he's like, if you've not got a weapon in your hand, I'm not even going to bother. I'll come back another day. And I kind of like that because it showed a lot of respect. More like, if I'm going to take you down, I'm going to take you down with your weapons. I'm not going to literally just hit you with it and destroy you.
Yeah, no cheap shot.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was a lot in that season that I genuinely really liked. I do know why people don't like it that much, but at the end of the day, it's better than Overdrive. So that's something.
Overdrive was awful, and is what it is. But speaking of Korag, we can talk about the Dino War if you'd like. But in one of the episodes, they had mentioned Korag and actually showed video of him.
Yeah, I generally thought. I mean, I knew exactly who they were going to choose because it wasn't that hard. But I would have loved it if they brought Korag back. Again, I don't know if everyone who's watching has seen it, but there are spoilers. But they say something like, Korag, he turned into a ranger. But then I was like, well, if you brought Korag back to where he was at the beginning, as long as Nick and Udon is around, they're not going to do anything, and he can just literally annihilate the Rangers. but it was nice to kind of see that they brought Korag, and they did a few other ones at the same time, which I generally thought, you know what, that's actually awesome. That to me is something where some thought went into it rather than just a oopsie, like we're just going to randomly throw bad guys in. Like they actually put like thought into it from when the characters reacted to what they said and everything. I was like, do you know what, I'm okay with Korag being in this. I wish he came back. Dear God, I would have loved to have seen that suit one more time. But
Yeah.
you know, it was a nice say, like, you know, he is one of the apparently, like, not the bad in a like, he's badass type villain that they wanted to go for.
Yeah, he's evil, but he's not a like one of those like wimpy bad guys that'll take the easy way out. And that's what I really liked about him. But what did you think of like the terrible dubbed voiceovers of like the scenes? Because you can tell.
I absolutely hated it. I thought, like, I'm guessing either that there is some reason why they can't put the voices in, like they can't be like either rights, a union or something like that, so they'd have to pay more rights to it. But then I kind of thought, well, you own the rights to the whole franchise, so you know, in that contract, it shouldn't just say you can have all like the episodes bar the voices and music. It should go into that one. I'm glad that they did it line for line, that it wasn't something that they added in. So it was Zed when he's like, oh, Toodles, I'll see you later, or Prince Sprocket's going to get a bang out of this. And they actually just did the exact same line, which I thought it was decent rather than it just being a kind of a, oh, here's Rocket's going to get a cheeky opening of that one and something, and just change it. So I'm kind of glad that they did actually put the lines in. The voices were horrible and terrible.
Oh my God, they were awful.
Yeah. I don't know. It's once you look past it, it's an okay episode, but
yeah, but it's like I think the worst one had to have been like Chris and Astronema, or Andros and Astronema, because when you look at the like In Space Lost Galaxy team up, that was awful. I was like, what is this? I'm like, that's not even his voice. And it made it sound like the Lost Galaxy Ranger and the Space Ranger had the same voice. I'm like, y'all aren't even trying at this point.
Yeah, I reckon they just got someone in the office, like, guys, who wants to be Andros for the day? Right, you don't sound like him, but you're in there. Get in there. Get in that booth. Get in there now. I didn't pick up it wasn't Andros at the very beginning. I thought it was him and Zane and Astronomer. I was like, okay, that's cool. They're redoing it. And then when I watched back to do the review, I was just like, oh no, it's completely different voices. It's like you can hear Chris when he like talks about it, like when he says like, Astronomer, no, I'm your brother. And you're like, where is that kind of passion rather than, oh, Astronomer, I'm your brother, no. And then watching back Corone, when she said, like, you know, I'm the Pink Ranger, I was like, that doesn't sound anything like her at all. So I was just, why couldn't they just use the clips off Netflix?
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm wondering if it has something to do with the music and not the voices directly. Like, I don't know, but like you could tell it wasn't Chris at first, and then Melody especially, she has such a distinct voice that it's hard to replicate, and it's like, that's not Melody. This is awful. But it was cool. If you can get past that, it was cool to see all of that stuff and see everything in there. But what did you think of the lead up to the Dino War? Because I think, in my opinion, this is the best lead up to a team up we've had ever.
Yeah, it's a great lead up. It is one of the best that I've seen. Like when reading through like the episode list, I thought, oh, we're just gonna have one episode, because normally like the names always lead in, or it would be like part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, why have they just got one? Like, this is a huge thing. Like, you can't condense everything into one area. It's impossible. Literally, you'd have to go into it straight away fighting. You'd have to do this. And then when they brought in Ryjack, and he was just like going, aha, I'm going to like bring back the Ranger legendary villains, or I want the weapons. I was like, oh, hello. And then when he literally brought Vargor back, I was like, that's how they're going to do it. And this is the start of the team up.
Yes.
So I loved it. I thought it was great. The lead up was great. The deliverance was bad, I reckon. But I generally loved all the episodes leading up to it. Was like absolutely perfect.
I feel like the lead up was like this, and then the deliverance was eh.
Yeah, I generally thought it took a massive dive. They could have at least made that one more episode. I don't know if you've seen the episode straight after, which is was it? It's basic golden opportunity.
I have not yet.
That episode could have been taken out completely and replaced with one more episode of the Dino War. It just felt like I think that it would have had much more of a better lead up where you saw Jason going like, "Oh, we're now going to defeat you," and then you go to be continued, and then just leaving it like that, and then going next episode we're going to extend it. We're going to use more fight. We're going to use more like give Jason a proper like kind of bringing him back, because I feel like looking at like Dimensions in Danger, Tommy had a more of a role. He had more lines than pretty much anyone bar the actual main team. And I felt like Jason just got kind of like pushed to the side. Now, I don't know if that's due to Austin and his contract or what he kind of negotiated, but it just felt like he wasn't utilized that well. It was just more of a, oh, guess what? We're bringing back the original Red and everyone wants to see it. You know, build up hype for such a long time, and then, boop, you know, it's not what it should have been.
Yeah, I think that like they could have done a lot better with the deliverance, and especially not seeing Austin morph. Like that was, I mean, you saw him morph, but you get what I'm saying, like the actual morphing sequence.
Yeah, I'm very surprised why they didn't do like an entire like roll call. Now I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a extended version like they did with Megaforce. Yeah, I reckon there's going to be one where they've done all this and it's going to be that the fight's going to be a bit more, and you see Jason talk, or you know he gets morph sequence, because it just feels very kind of like if they could recreate it in the Sentai version, I'm sure that someone could literally just put the same sort of graphic around, get Austin to stand in a green screen and just go Tyrannosaurus, and then that's it. Like it's not that hard, I think.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was really hoping for, because it was like they did it in Once a Ranger with Adam, and that was a pretty cool morph sequence. And so that's like that we didn't get it in Dimensions in Danger, we didn't get it in the Mega War. So I'm like, all right, Hasbro's going to do us right, and I'm like, nope, they did not.
Yeah, it's like, guys, we want to tease you, we want to do all this. Look at this great lead up. You want that morph? Oopsie, we didn't have enough budget for it. You know, or if they could have spliced in the original like they did with Forever Red, like I would have taken that over anything. I would have had young Jason go Tyrannosaurus and then go, oh, there's older Austin right there.
I would have been okay with that. Like, obviously, even in Forever Red, you could tell that was from the original show from 10 years ago, but now it's, what, 27, 28 years ago? So
yeah, it'd be like, the morphing grid can bring people back. You know, what was Jason doing? He's just sitting on the sofa, or maybe he was at the juice bar, and then all of a sudden just morphs. Like, you know, you can put you back 20 years to say some sort of, like, it's the morphing grid. It likes to play tricks on people.
Yeah, morphing grid. You can do whatever you want with it. But
yeah.
What's your opinion on the next season, Dino Fury?
I'm hoping it's going to be good. I watched Rear Soldier, and I actually really liked that one. I just really want it to be slightly. I want it to be more mature, not to the point where it's adult. I'd rather it go back to what like the other series are, like Time Force or Wild Force or anything like that, where like you also get rid of the comic value to it as well. Because I think what worked really well in the Dino team up was Ben and Betty weren't there. So there wasn't any kind of like oopsies and stuff like that, which made me feel like that was a great way to kind of like bring to the show. So if they adapt that for Dino Fury and say, look, we're going to drop the comedy element because it didn't work, or it kind of worked with Ben and Betty, it didn't work with Monty and Victor at all. God damn, I did not like that.
Nope, it did not.
No. Oh God, no. But then like there's never been any kind of comic relief that I remember, you know, before like Victor and Monty and stuff like that. If they go down the route of copying it, like adapting it properly, I think it will be darker. I would love the fact that if they brought back David Yost, if they brought Austin and they brought Amy Jo back to take the roles over and say, look, our powers after Beast Morphers matured, they evolved. We're going to teach you how to use it, and then take them out of the episode and then have them come back. at the very end of the season and say you've done well, like they did with Rear Soldier. I'm guessing that's what happened because I only watched up to the first 8, then saw like kind of what happened near the end where they said, oh, here's like Master Red, Blue, and Pink again and stuff like that. Or if they brought back just Billy and just have him as just the mentor, I think that would be quite good. I'm hoping that they don't make the bad guys and have the certain name all the time, like Robotron's like I'm the Beetletron or I'm Ghosttron, and I'm just like, can we get rid of that and just have decent names? But yeah, like I just hope that everyone's not going to want like JDF or Austin or all that always to come back. I would kind of like them maybe to reference and say, hey, there have been other dinosaurs back and stuff like that for us. You're the fourth dino team fourth dino team to come back and go, this is what came back. Give a reference or a shout out back to the others and go like, oh, you're the fourth T-Rex. Great fun. Here's little Rexy or what, Terramigo and stuff like that. And just say,
love
cool.
Terramigo.
He was good. Did he actually do anything later? Because I know he literally was a shortened version and was in the house all the time and he ate ice cream or something like that.
Yeah, it was weird. I only watched the first like 10 episodes, but like that seems like that's all he did.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have more and have him voiced, I think, but I just hope they make it slightly kind of mature-ish, but not to the point where it alienates the target audience that they've had, like kind of at the moment.
I agree. I think that like seasons like Time Force and Wild Force and Lost Galaxy did that well, and I think if they get back to that formula, this will be a very successful season.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since like they say like kids love dinosaurs and that's the main bread and butter. I hope that they can make it for all audiences and just not spoil it. Dear God, I do not want another like comedy relief in it because I think it works to some degree, but I think if you make the Rangers tell jokes and stuff rather than just be kind of like, oh, we've now got someone falling over being covered in custard for like 3 or 4 episodes, or one character likes jumping on a trampoline because she's trying to be rescued, so she has to jump on a trampoline. God damn it, Betty, why? You had so much potential.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed with Ben and Betty in this season, and I think the characters are kind of useless. I don't like comic relief characters unless it's Bulk and Skull, but I think that's just me personally. I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, I like them, but I think in the second season they decided to change a little bit, and I don't like that because it felt in the first season the jokes and stuff happened as in naturally rather than forced, and that's what I don't like. Forced comedy doesn't work because I don't imagine a load of people going like, ha ha ha, it's so funny, and then just being like, yeah, that's really funny. I want to see more of this. So I think next one they just need to drop it and just see how it works. If it doesn't work, bring back it for the next season or so, or just have a funny like dinosaur. Yeah, have Tyrannigo as the oopsie daisy thing, but have it naturally.
Yeah, like have him like eat all the food in the fridge and he's like, oh, I didn't know it wasn't for me, my bad.
Yeah, but Tyrannigo, you got your head stuck in the door again, I'm so sorry. That's it. That's it.
See, that could work. Something like that could work. But like Ben and Betty, like first season they were okay. This season it's like, you said. But one final question for you, like who's like the one person, like what's your dream collab like with other like YouTubers?
I think everyone at this time. I think I'd like to with everyone. I was talking to one of my friends about this the other day, and it felt like now there's more Ranger YouTubers about, it would be really nice to kind of bring everyone together. And I think that's it. So pretty much everyone who's willing. If I could collab with someone outside, like we're talking about in the Ranger world, Ciara Hanna again. Yes, Ciara Hanna, I would love to. But for Ranger YouTubers, just everyone. I think that's cool. I think we could all like come together to make something like great, and then be like, yeah, I'm definitely up for that.
I mean that would be fantastic. Do something at PMC or something. But people can check you out later tonight on the Illuminati's YouTube channel. You'll be on there with Ranger Command Power Hour, Morphin Network, Ranger Liz, Toku Kid, and the cast of the Illuminati. So you'll be discussing the Dino War, correct?
Yes, we're going to be talking about the everything that's going on, which it's going to be quite interesting because I think everyone's going to have different opinions, but I think we're all going to have the same valid point, I think. So that's going to be a very fun one to kind of talk about more in depth on it. So it just depends on if people have seen it, if people don't want to be spoiled about it. But I think, to be fair, I think that if you've seen Go Busters, the film, as well as you've also seen the screenshots, you kind of can say this is what's going to happen in the episode, this is what's going to happen, this is what happened, blah blah blah, and then just kind of go like, I like it, I don't like it, it was okay, type thing.
Yeah, exactly, and it's going to be amazing to see all of you on the screen at once. But I'm gonna give you this chance, plug away your social medias, tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, pretty much everywhere bar Twitter has everything with Airlim. I know my Twitter is Mainstream Live because someone took Airlim. That was a sad day when I found that one out. But Facebook Airlim, YouTube Airlim, and Instagram Airlim, and Mainstream Live for Twitter.
All right, guys, make sure to go check him out. His YouTube is incredible. Thank you so much for coming on this episode of the Ranger Experience. I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight on the Illuminati. And guys, remember that Thursday I will have on as my guest Rando, and we'll be discussing Bloodline of the Grid and how he got into Power Rangers and his art. So make sure to be here Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, Eastern Standard Time. I get so confused with time zones now. It's like I talk to so many people. I'm like, which time zone? But guys, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you later. And yeah, I guess we're out.
Cool. Thank you very much for having me, by the way.
Yep, it was